Hi everyone, looking at the next exercise in ratios. We're looking at how to divide a quantity into a given ratio, and there are two easy ways of doing this. We can either use the unitary method, which requires us to revert back to one part and then multiply back up to the number of parts we need, and the second way is to use fractions. So I'll go through two cases using both methods. The first one's looking at 54 meters of fencing, and with the 54 meters of fencing we're trying to split it up into a ratio of 4:5. I don't know why, but it's just a question. So we want to give 4 parts out of every 9 parts to one person and 5 parts out of every 9 parts to another person. So there are 9 parts total, and that's the important thing to recognize in the unitary method. Once we know how many parts there are, if we divide that into the total quantity that we have, that will give us how many would be in one part. So we have 9 parts, split this into 9 parts, that'll give us 1 part, which would be 6. 9 goes into 54 6 times. And then once we know how much is in one part, we multiply it by the number of parts we need. So if we need 4 parts, multiply that by 4. If we need 5 parts, multiply that by 5. And in that case, it would give 24 and 30. So if we were to split 54 into a ratio of 4:5, the resulting ratio would be 24 meters and 30 meters, or 24:30. Now, using the fractional method, same sort of idea. We start with 9 parts total, except this time we split our ratio into fractions by dividing both sides by the total parts and then multiplying by the quantity. So if we want to split 54 meters into a ratio of 4:5, first multiply it by the left hand side, divided by the number of parts multiplied by the quantity. So 4 divided by 9 times by the quantity, which should be 54. And for the right hand side, do the same thing, but this time for the 5. So 5 divided by the total of 9, multiplied by the 54 again, and that will also give us 24:30. Both ways are valid. The unitary method tends to be easier if you don't have a calculator. The fractional method is often quicker if you have a calculator. Okay, let's not just talk about it, let's do another one. So a bit of a harder problem here. We have a ratio of boys to girls, and that ratio is 2:3, and we're told there's 246 boys, and we want to work out how many girls. So again, we work out the number of parts total with the unitary method. 2 and 3 gives us 5, and we know that 246, this number here, is 2 parts out of the 5. So to find out 1 part, we're going to divide by 2. So instead of having 2 parts, we'll have 1 part. That's this line here. And by doing that, we'll find out that 1 part is 123. 3 parts is the girls. Multiply the 1 part by 3, and that will give us our 369 girls. Correct. Fractional method is slightly different. We know that 2/5 of the total is 246, so 2/5 of however many students we've got, is 246 boys. Multiply both sides by 5 on 2. The 2/5 will cancel out, we'll be left with 246 times 5 on 2, which will give us a total of 615 students in the school. If we multiply the 615 by the 3/5 of the school that are girls, we'll find out there's 369 girls. And that pretty much is all there is to it. As long as you think about what you have and what you need, you can work your way through the problem, and as per usual, the bell interrupts us. I'll see you all soon.